it's the noontime here in Hollywood, California, and I'm on my way to the gym. As you can see, I got my gym clothes on, but I wanted to make this video while things are still fresh on my mind and I'm able to just communicate real clearly with you guys and deliver the best possible message that I can, which this is a continuation from the first part video that I made, 7 reasons why you are depressed or fighting depression. We've all been there. I know I have. And so, guys, I just wanted to make this video. I got no whiteboard in front of me today. I just want to make this video off the top of my head and just speak to you guys, from the heart, and just speak to you guys fully, without any sort of script in front of me. I want to start by saying, I don't have all the answers, you guys. I'm figuring this thing out we call life, just like everyone else is, and hopefully we are all learning from our experiences, our achievements, our failures, and also likewise learning from the experiences of other people. And so that's just what I'm doing. I'm just delivering my part, the things that I've achieved, the things that I've failed at, and believe you me, guys, I'll tell you a whole lot about my failures, because I've had a lot of failures. So, but never let that get you down. Any successful person that you could learn from on the internet, I don't care who it is, they've had a ton of failures, probably more failures than actual achievements. So don't let that get you down. With that being said, let's just talk about the list that I had created last time and just jump right into it and just have a good conversation. That's really the point of these videos, is to just have a conversation with you guys, connect with you guys, and just build like a community where we can just, discuss things and really problem solve. That's kind of one of my main goals with this channel, is just to problem solve for my viewers, but also for myself. So these videos help me out, hopefully just as much as they'll help you out. So with that being said, let's get into it. The first thing on the list was your finances. So your finances being low, people's finances being low, or monthly budgets being very tight, all these things is probably the number one cause for depression, certainly for stress, certainly amongst men. And so I just had a quick little story that I wanted to share with you guys, which was, I came from a background of, I went to college. I played on a full soccer scholarship in college. When I got out of college, I just wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had an entrepreneurial spirit. I started working in bars and bartending and club promoting. I eventually went on to own a nightclub, and just did all sorts of other jobs that could make me money. I didn't want to go the 9-to-5 route. After a while, when I ended up making money through my 20s, I came to a point where I lost everything. I was dead broke. And one of the factors as to how I got back, or at least got back into generating income, was working 12-hour days. So I had this formula as to how to divide my time in the most efficient, best possible way. And doing that was by saying, okay, there's 24 hours in a day, and the recommended amount of sleep is 7 hours, which, by the way, we don't need 7 hours of sleep, but I'll digress on that for the moment. So by having 7 hours in the day, I said, okay, well, if I get 7 hours of sleep, I have 17 hours a day to work. And that's exactly what I started doing. I started working at least 12 hours a day. That's how much I would work, 12 hours a day. And some of you doing the 9-to-5, you might think, well, man, that's a lot of hours. But one of the things that I was doing in those 12-hour days of work was I was Ubering. I was doing Uber Eats, DoorDash. I was doing those things, and even those applications allow you to work 12 hours a day. Okay, so if they're allowing you to work 12 hours a day, then regardless of your job, if you're working an 8-hour day at your job, the best thing that you can do to start compounding your money is to get a second side hustle, get a second job, like a Uber Eats, like a DoorDash, and just bust out another 4 hours, a day. Another 4 hours a day, 7 days a week is 28 hours in the whole week. So you're going to be gaining, say you make an extra, $200, $200 times times 7 days a week is, you know, 1400 bucks a week extra. It's almost $6,000 a month extra in your pocket by just putting in another 4 hours into your work week. And I know some people will say, well, I got a wife, I got kids, I got all these like commitments that I have, and I get that. So that's why I just really wanted to share a quick story as to how proper time management can truly have an impact not only on yourself but your family. Let me just say, as in my opinion, as the man, you don't need to be with your kids all the time. You just need to be there for them at the most essential times. You don't need to be there while they're having breakfast and watching cartoons. You know, you need to be there when they have recitals, when they have big games, when they have a problem at school, things like that. So let me just give you this quick example. When I was growing up, I had a soccer mentor, someone who taught me the game. And this man had two sons. And he was a Nigerian professional soccer player. That was the only gift that he had. This man was a raging alcoholic. He was an abuser of drugs. He was physically abusive to his children. And probably the only 2 hours of the day that this man was sober, he was on the field teaching his sons and myself how to play the game of soccer. Now, just from doing that, he was able to put both of his kids through college, and myself. I mean, of course, we had to put the work in, but none of us would have made it to college if it wasn't for the skills that he taught us. He was a single dad. He was extremely poor, and just with those 2 hours a day, he was able to instill gifts into three young boys that would take those skills on and create careers. And in fact, his oldest son ended up becoming one of the greatest United States American soccer player ever. He played for the national team. He's still an ESPN commentator to this day. And I just say that story so that you guys can really see, like, not saying he was the greatest parent by any means, but what type of influence and impact he had on his children just spending basically 2 hours a day with them. Those 2 hours a day, ended up turning into a lifelong career worth millions of dollars, fame, respect, notoriety, a college degree, etc., etc. So I just tell you guys that story so that you can see what is possible with just a few hours a day. Moving forward from that, number 2 on the list was your relationships. My parents always taught me that being, with the right woman could completely change your life, and obviously being with the wrong one could completely destroy it. And so we have to look to work on our relationships like anything else we work at in business, with our body, with our diet, anything else. A relationship is the same thing. It's like this plant behind me. If I'm not watering that plant, it's gonna die. If I'm not watering a relationship, it's gonna die. And so one of the greatest things that has worked for me with my relationships is I just literally Googled like trust building exercises. Trust building exercises for you and your partner. If you just Google something like that, you guys, I know sometimes it might seem like, oh, this is gay, what am I doing? But it goes so far just doing some of the littlest things, even as small as taking a long walk with your partner, like without cell phones. That's one of the exercises. Even something like that goes a very long way. And something else that I love, which is super underrated, is to write your partner once a month a handwritten letter, just describing your feelings, how you feel, your love for her, whatever it may be. We can't explain it as men. I know I can't. Women have a certain connection and a certain love for handwritten, for things that are handwritten, like it's why they save birthday cards and all this stuff. And it's unexplainable, the connection that they have to something that is handwritten, that deals with the emotional side of things. One example I can think of is, like, look at the 50 Shades of Grey. We all know that those are books, and they were books that were directed towards women. I did a quick search the other day, and I found out that in 2 years, the 50 Shades of Grey had sold 150 million copies. So that should just tell you how much of an impact handwritten things that make on a woman is just quite incredible. And so that's something that helped me out, was just handwriting letters to my to my girlfriend, to my significant other. Number three is your physique, and this is just a non-negotiable. I mean, it is just a literal non-negotiable, that you have to put a minimum of 30 minutes a day working out in the gym. Like, it just can't be any other option, whether it's in the morning, the afternoon, the nighttime. It's got to start with at least 30 minutes. And if you're completely brand new to working out, as in like you don't have a clue how to do it, start with probably the easiest thing that I can think of, which is like jogging on the treadmill for 10 minutes, 50 push-ups, and 100 crunches. If you stay consistent to that, especially depending on your age, man, I'd say probably in a month's time tops, your body will really start to change, and you will start to elevate your capacity for greater workouts in a very short time. Most especially if you are under 25 years old. I mean, superhuman abilities at those ages. So the physique, you guys, it's just non-negotiable. You have to work out. Number four is the mindset. This is probably, I didn't speak about this enough in the last video, but your mindset is it truly does shape your reality. It's quite incredible what a strong mindset can do, and we'll dive deeper into mindsets, certain examples that you want to use, and certain attitudes that you want to have, and dive deeper into different types of mindsets that you can have. And it's a huge topic that almost can never be discussed enough because of how impactful people's mindsets have been in their lives and affected the lives of millions of people. So we'll dive deeper into that, but just to touch on it at the surface level, it starts with self-talk, positive self-talk. A lot of people, especially if you're in a rut, sometimes it just sounds like bullshit. Oh, I don't want to talk, what's that going to do? What's that going to do? Man, you guys, I've been there. I spoke very badly about myself for years, like something like 3 years of just talking as if I was a piece of shit to myself in my own head. And the moment that I started to, anytime that I would start to, tell myself, you're a loser, you're this, you're that, the moment that I would just catch it and just turn it into something positive and just started repeating that, day in and day out, which coincidentally was like probably 50 to 100 times a day. I'd have to catch myself and put something positive as to where I was thinking negative. Oh, man, the change in how I felt about myself was just miraculous. And so that leads us to number 5. And then number 5 is the goals. Having too many goals at once is just unhealthy. And so I challenge you, and this is the challenge to myself, that we all shoot for a goal that is most accomplishable within the next 90 days, okay? Shoot for a goal that you have a very realistic expectation that you can accomplish this goal in 90 days. And so you'll begin to see that in 90 days, if you are able to accomplish your first achievable goal, that everything else will start to come to you that much more quickly, that much more rapidly. The reason for this is money and success are all agents of momentum. They truly are. You truly have to build momentum. And the more momentum that you build, okay, obviously the easier everything comes. But what we can't do is we can't say, I got $1,000 in my bank account, but I want $1 million and I want to drive a Lambo, SVJ, and all this stuff. Like, we have to build on top of the small W's. Small W's add up to big W's. So if you have a goal right now, tell me what leave it in the comments. Like, what's the goal that you want to accomplish in 90 days, you know? And then we'll keep building from there. I'll go ahead and I'll leave my 90-day goal in the description as well. I'm gonna leave it down there, and let's all hold each other accountable to reaching these goals in the next 90 days. And so number 6 is going to be your confidence. Okay, your confidence comes from your mindset, your attitude, the self-talk, and it also comes from, at least for me personally, and I know it would work for you, it also comes from my faith. And so when having a positive mindset and a strong foundation of faith in God and Jesus, man, I mean, you're unstoppable. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, you are quite literally unstoppable with those things, or you at the very least have the potential to be unstoppable. Look at what the men of the Bible accomplished with no money, just confidence in their Lord. Look what they were able to accomplish through that. Things that we are continuing to learn and speak about thousands of years later. Okay, that's not by coincidence, you guys. And so I want to just keep instilling that faith is the greatest and most important thing ever, which rolls into point number 7. Okay, and point number 7 is just to keep creating day in and day out, just like you're going to do with the gym, just like you're going to do with your finances, just like you're going to do with all the things that we've listed. Keep curating your relationship with the Lord. Well, you might say, well, Alex, you know, how do I start that? How do I build my relationship with the Lord? I know nothing about God. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to open up my Bible. And so I implore you to read along with me. I'm in Psalms right now. So I have a verse right here. And this verse, well, let me first just say, you know, I'll post daily on my channels, on my social media, you know, verses and whatnot, and you guys can follow along with me. But faith is a muscle. It works exactly the same as a muscle. So if you are not using your faith and learning things that can build your faith, which is studying your Bible, then you'll always have weak faith. But if you have strong faith, Jesus said you could tell a mountain to throw itself into the ocean and it would be so. So how do you get faith? You get faith by opening up your Bible daily and reading into it. So this is today's verse. I'm in Psalms, so we're going to look at Psalms. Today is Psalms 25, verses 4 through 5. Show me your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. On you I wait all the day. Okay? Those words from David, they're still as true as they are today as they were, 2,000, 3,000 years ago. So, guys, that's the end of the video. It's long. Everyone have a good day. I hope you tune in. I want to ask you to subscribe, because I know your subscriptions are like holy. So, but I will ask you guys to leave a thumbs up and leave a comment. Let's interact. Let's have a conversation. All right. With that, have a blessed day.